In the land of Freya, darkness spreads its wings. A corruption so deep, it poisons everything. But in the shadows, a group of heroes arise. Bound by courage, they'll never compromise. Through treacherous valleys and mountains high, they fight for justice, never questioning why. Their hearts ablaze, united they stand against the forces of evil hand in hand. Oh, hear the legends of our sacrifice. In the face of darkness, we will rise with valor in our hearts. We'll take a stand, defend us on Freya, we'll save the land.
Cannot get enough of that song. Awesome. Okay, welcome everybody. Evening to Geek Pride's Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. With me tonight, we have Conrad as Arno Jerkel.
Hello, fellows.
Oh, hello, fellows, and he just froze.
That's me.
He froze. He went,
hello, hello, fellow citizens.
We have Michael as Tharval Eldon.
Good evening, infidels.
We have Jace as Brother Gadam.
Adun Toridas.
We have Barty as Bartholomew Pringle.
404, witty greeting not found.
And we have Vic as Saren Sanguine.
You're right, Chuck.
We have
You're right, Greenie.
We unfortunately have no Mark tonight because he is indisposed. So no Lance. He will be being auto-piloted in his own way.
He's in the water side anyway.
He isn't. Well, he's technically with Tharaval and Ceravel and stuff. There meant to be some RP in the Citadel, but nobody got round to it. So we'll just swing past that and sort of carry on. Right, okay.
Swing low.
So, for those who weren't watching last week, and for Lecky's aid, we will go a quick recap of last week. So, long and short of it is, Gregor came out the other side a changed man. He is no longer the sort of meek and weak sort of squire slash demi knight, I guess he was. He is a grown armor-plated man.
Daddy.
Yeah. He who seems to have lost his mind slightly. He's come out and he sort of semi recognizes names and some bits and pieces with the party, but he doesn't recognize the name Gregor. He got a bit emotional when Lance handed him Huthway's Bane, and understood that there was something that relates to this sword and to, it had connection with him and with the people he sort of cared for, but it's not there with them. With this as well, he has a sort of alter ego. When he loses his temper, he turns into a 10-foot rage beast, and that is something we have as an unknown quantity currently. When the old man was there, he seemed to sort of calm it down, and he turned back into what he calls himself as Niasil now. Niasil is, for all intents and purposes, the knight you have in front of you, and he was given the choice to go with the old man to the Celestial Realm to help fight Galmarath with Valashul and all the others, or he could sort of stay and try and defeat the corruption with the party. And now, Brother Gaddon, pretty much it was very much you should never meet your heroes. Wasn't too impressed by the old man, and basically just went, fuck you guys, and sort of walked off, and then sort of wasn't overly impressed by the whole thing. Neither really was Arno, and Lance as well. Well, Lance sort of eventually sort of kind of walked off. They had a bit of a powwow about, you know, their feelings on the situation. Not overly happy, but of the view that maybe they should try and sort of regain Gregor's humanity, effectively sort of bring him back effectively within the knight they see in front of him. In that, you know, when they were insulting the old man, a little bird pooed on Brother Gaddon's head, and flew off to sort of whisper to the old man, who sort of chuckled and walked off into the golden light within the door that he came from. Tharaval pretty much was of the view that the old man had always been there for them and had always guided them in the right place, so he was happy enough, or at least for the time being, happy enough to just accept what it was and just take it as some sort of divine intervention, albeit that he's not really a religious elf. And we had Saren, who just...
I'm regretting this.
We had Saren, who just mumbled and cooed and generally couldn't get a word. Yeah. You see in the cartoons where it's just like dig it, you know, if she could wolf whistle, she probably would have.
She was very uwu.
She was very uwu indeed. Uwu.
So much regret.
That was pretty much it. They came back and they basically said that they would, you know, fight with him and they would sort of be there to make him sort of remember who he was, who this Lyasil is. You're currently not really sure. Did we do any history checks or anything last week about him, Lyasil? Did we do anything?
Yes, we did. And
oh yes, you did. Yes.
We filled,
yeah.
filled us in and said he was a dragon knight.
Yeah, he's a dragon knight.
The earlier wars.
Yeah. So you can check out our World Anvil page. They put a very extensive article with a bit too much information about the Kyrelian Civil War and the Dragon Knights and the destruction of the Dragon Knight Order, and Lyasil, who was a Grand Master within the Dragon Knights, who was a hero of the Battle of Dawnford, which is, for you can see, in fact, here we want to friend time names. Yeah, Dawnford is the sort of central fortified island, just sort of in the middle of the map there, southwest of Alamor. And that's basically where most of the order was sort of wiped out. He was meant to have been seen forming into this grand sort of like dragon to sort of repel the attackers, but it wasn't enough to sort of save the fortification, and he was seen allegedly sort of taking himself off in a boat with some of his followers. And then there's some other sightings and things of him as well. Another one sort of mentioning him going through an old man going through a golden lit door. and there's rumors of his return in the hour of need to bring back the order and help defend Kyrelia from its foes. And that's it. You can find that on the very extensive story on the World Anvil, should you wish. Yeah, and that's pretty much where we left it. Oh no, I lie, because we had decided to move on. I lie. We had decided to move
Chapter
on.
2.
Yeah, we decided to move on. The party, we're going to split. Niasil, Brother Garin, Barty, and who else?
Arno.
Arno. Yes, Arno's staying. We're staying put to work on some bits and bobs. Lance and Eldrith were off to Waterside, which, if you guys remember your Legends of Our Sacrifice history, that is the one shot we did. It was all set in Waterside, and that's where Lance's character sort of started effectively. And then you had Tharaval and Seravel and Seren, who were on their way to the old battlefield of the Whispering Shore, which is down here. And that's effectively where we got to. So there we go. That's where we're going from. I think you'd sort of started taking yourself off to leave and go towards the bastion of the Morning Star, and then sort of make your way down to Whispering Shore, and then obviously Lance would make his way off to a Waterside. Before they leave, does anybody have anything they want to do, say, etc.?
I think we did everything we wanted to do before we left.
Yeah.
So really,
Yep.
Lecky's
I
going
think
to
there's anything I can do.
Does Lecky have to be with them when they teleport?
Is he teleporting them,
Yes.
or are they walking them there?
I think.
I can only teleport an object if I'm not with it. I've got
Oh, okay, cool.
I've got to go with, but I could go with and spend the day and come back.
Okay, cool. No, but I think because we were trying to figure out if we could teleport them to a certain place and then afterwards, but that's not the case. So yeah, I think we've done everything we can then. So
Yeah.
we'll
Unless-
meet
unless
them.
the temple has a circle, a teleportation circle.
Oh, nah.
Find that.
I think we investigated that and they don't have that there. From what I think.
It'd be a
No.
huge security flaw.
Yeah, it really was.
Massive.
we were part
Glaring
of
It would be like
hole
using
in
part
the
of
security
a
flaw.
teleportation network. Forbidden.
So you have the arcane. You will have arcane security consultants coming in, going up. No, can't do this at all. There's a gap in your magical network here. The weave is very
Yeah,
weak
totally.
here.
Yeah. One question would be though, if Ethustis oil,
Official
if any
soil.
of that, if we'd accept that as a rare incense, I'll be tapping up
I've got some.
Fireball for some.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I guess you could use it as
I know,
a sort of incense, yeah. Or
Nice.
you could
Drink it.
fashion it in some sort of way to make it an incense, yeah.
Well, what's this for?
Ooh, that's not a bad
A,
idea. I don't mind jumping through some hoops. It's for I need rare incense for forbiddance to cast forbiddance.
Oh yeah. I was
thinking,
gonna say
geez,
because
man.
what we can do is I've got a apothecary skill. Basically, the sage expert main had a line of sight for apothecary stuff, and I've actually got herbalist tool specialty as a healer.
Sounds
So
like an RP moment. So
it
yeah,
is an
well,
RP moment. So
we can-
we can.
Yeah, so if Fanner will be kind enough to
Yes. Can do.
let me have some as a parting
Nice.
gift.
Yeah, I think I got a vial of it, so you can
Sick.
have whatever. Don't poison people.
Yeah, too
We
much of
won't
it.
much.
It only works if you shot it neat, right?
We won't. It won't be
Nothing back.
much.
Okay. Right.
Nice.
So,
Thank you very
I'm trying to think about this because in theory, Lance knows the guys within the Bastion of the Morning Star because he served with them. He served with them. But I guess we can sort of swish past that. If there's anything maybe that Seravel, Tharaval, and and Saren want to do within the bastion, I guess that's fine. But apart from that, we can just maybe sort of kind of fast travel past that part if you want to.
Yeah,
No,
I'm fine with that. I
fine.
can't think of anything.
No, me either.
Yeah. sounds
Anything
good.
other than mischief.
And mayhem,
And getting drunk.
and potentially soliciting.
I'm gonna put something a bit more. I'm gonna do the tavern music.
I'm gonna put something in you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put something in you.
We can all agree that Lance says something very deep and very wise.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. So, you say your goodbyes, and you sort of make your way out of the gates of the temple complex or the sanctuary complex, and make your way down sort of familiar-ish roads. Having sort of being this sort of area where you and Lance sort of made your way through to get to Baldon in the first place. You go through roads. You see on the way, you see sort of columns of soldiers. You see, trades sort of carts going back and forth, sort of. In the very, very distance, you kind of see the walls, the sort of fabled walls of the Elven city, which I've yet to name. Because I was like, we're not going to get this far over here, but yeah, have not named yet. But
Elfville.
Elf Town, Elf City with big walls.
Elfusus?
Elfusus.
Hey, whilst we're here, might as well.
But yes, city that I will name. Yeah, so you sort of see that, and it's sort of kind of with its huge sort of its huge walls. Now, let's see. You make it to the Bastion, which is another sort of staging point, or effectively the last staging point before what is effectively the front line. You talk to members of the Order of the Morning Star. You talk to, you try to maybe talk to the guard captain Girk to discuss things, but he is currently on mission trying to deal with incursions, but other incursions on the land, and is needed to try and sort of rally troops, so isn't able to help you. They give you some advice that, as much as the battle was won and the main force of the enemy was cast from the shores, there is still remnants of the forces in the area, and the area is somewhat corrupted, and therefore you should be on your guard, as not everything may be as it seems, and not everything will be as helpful as the Order are. They bid you farewell, and you sort of make your way down towards the old battleground. Now, do you want to follow the road? Do you want to follow the road, the main road that goes towards the battlefield, or do you want to sort of make your way over the hills and through the forests?
Over the hills and far, far away, the Teletubbies come to
Or if there's another way you want to do, how you want to do
It's
things.
not what I went with.
How do you want to how do you want to make your way there?
Thing is, do we want to be seen?
I think in this case we're we're basically entering not enemy territory but unknown territory. It's neither good nor bad. We kind of probably want to keep a low profile. I mean, sort of traveling in shadow is good for the. I'm sure all of us are actually probably quite good in, as we're all roguish of some sort. I'd say probably avoiding the road is maybe a good
Yeah.
idea. We've probably got obviously the options of the hills and the forests. The only other thing I was thinking of is if we can some way find a entrance and potential exit near the battlefield through the Underdark, but I don't know whether there would be one. Because as far as I know, as far as I assume, the Underdark, from when when Tharavol's left the Underdark, they'd sort of closed off all sort of
So you're
entrances to
Blundy, a large town in
stop.
the Underdark. So that is, let me do this on the map for everybody who's not seeing this on the stream. It is this is effectively where you've come from. Dublin is the sort of would have been the main sort of entrance into the Underdark over there. There will obviously be a network of tunnels. If they would go this far, I'm not sure. You can give me a. What would you give me? A nature check? Would it be? Would I say nature check? The check for signs?
Don't know. I don't think my nature.
Survival, maybe.
Yeah, survival actually.
That's
Yeah, okay. Give me a survival.
Or finding the way.
Yeah, give me a survival. Yeah, give me a survival. Yeah.
Do we know the way?
Okay. You sort of look around for signs of old tunnels and entrances to the Underdark, and you can't find anything. There was sort of one you're pretty sure was originally an old passage, but it's currently covered in boulders and rocks, and you're not sure if you'd be able to get in or not.
Okay. Then it sort of goes back to our previous two options of being over the hills or the path. What say you, Darren?
I would say hills and forests, because the last thing we need, if there are people, possible scouts or like any groups of these forces left, the last thing we need is to be spotted in the open.
Yeah.
And sticking to the path is going to keep us well in the open. And as good and as stealthy as we are, even we can't hide in broad daylight.
Okay. So that's agreed then. You're going through the forests and hills.
Yep.
Okay. So you start making your way through the forest, and the colors and the forest effectively demeanor towards you changes. You're elf kind. You're very sort of attuned to the sort of nature, and you go from these sort of lush green and friendly feeling sort of places to a sort of slightly darker and less what's the word? A less what's the bloody word? Can't think. Friendly, a less friendly place, and then it just goes out. You then get to sort of a out and out hostile feeling area. The trees are dark and gnarled. They're burnt. You smell death on the wind. Smoke rises. And you're pretty sure some of these trees are sort of whispering about you. You can't make out anything, but you hear faint words in the wind. Let's show that then. Boosh. So all right. So I would like you to roll me some dice. So I need you to roll me a perception check, please.
Each individual person, or
Give me just one, and you can have sort of advantage on it. In fact, no, you can have a straight roll on it because the area is corrupted. Just give me a straight perception roll.
Believe that.
Okay. Let's check this. As you sort of travel through this sort of dense forest, you stumble upon a sort of glade. It's sort of got this strange, sickly-looking mist surrounding it, and it's sort of hanging in the air. The once sort of vibrant foliage that was around you in previous is now all withered and covered with patches of blackened earth. There's something odd about this place. It's not. It feels like you're not where you should be. Roll me a survival check.
Both of us?
You can have. Who's got the best survival?
+7.
That would be you.
You sort of notice tracks on the ground that are not of sort of the local, or what would have been the local wildlife. These are hooved. Tracks, but they are in pairs of 2, not in 4. That you would assume with horses. They sort of seem to be going off to the west. Oh, sorry, ignore me. They're going off. Let's check this. Let me just draw where you guys are sort of coming through. Is my drawing thing? Oh, no. Freehand. So you are, I guess, coming this way, like that. So you're sort of coming from the fort, going along, and you've sort of entered this sort of gnarled forest. The battleground is to your sort of southeast. The tracks are sort of taking themselves off to the west.
Can we tell if they're like fairly recent, or if it's been a while since they've been sort of gone past? Or
with your survival check, you'd say they are, within the last sort of 3 or 4 hours, you'd say.
So Tharaval sort of kneels down at, and Cerevel, they sort of kneel down at the tracks, and they sort of, wet their finger and touch on the mud, and then sort of taste and spit it out. And they sort of look around and sort of see like some sort of broken branches and brambles and things about the place, noticing like the hoof tracks. Sort of looks to Saren and says, something's passed through here, not on horseback. These could be corruption agents or bad guys. I don't know whether we want to actually follow these tracks or not, as in follow them to where they've come from, or get past them and just try and avoid them altogether.
Vic, have you got like a fan going or something? Because there's like getting a
No.
lot of buzz coming from your.
No fun.
Your PC maybe?
Could be.
Okay. Can you just mute yourself before you talk?
Yeah.
And then unmute yourself when you talk, because we're getting you're just getting this sort of kind of whirring sound. All right. Okay. So sorry. Carry on. What were you doing?
It's, again, Tharavel sort of says these tracks are fresh enough. We must be on our guard from here on in. Travel slow and travel quiet. And from that point, the two brothers will sort of go make themselves hidden.
Roll stealth.
Where is my stealth? So one for Tharaval. Ooh yeah, crit.
Okay.
One for Cerevel.
Okay. All right. So so you're not following him. You're just going to carry on.
Yeah.
Okay. Saren agreed.
Yeah, agreed. I think it would probably be better that we don't try and track down whatever this is, because the last
Okay,
thing we need right now is to get into further trouble.
Again, I mean that it's not the destination. They're moving away from our destination, and we don't want to be making ourselves,
Exactly.
Sort of drawing attention to ourselves if it's not needed.
Roll me, Cerevel. Roll me, roll me a. Roll me a history check, Cerevel. Cerevel looks at the sort of on his knee with you, sort of looking at the direction of the hoof prints, and sort of stands up and sort of looks quizzically, sort of up at the sky slightly, like he's trying to work something out, and he sort of looks in one direction and he looks in another direction, and he starts sort of looking around for sort of signposts and things, or not physical signposts, but sort of, things he recognizes in the area. And he sort of states that, brother, there is an old road that goes to the west, and if I'm not mistaken, that takes it to the town of Waterside. If these creatures are on that path, they may intercept Lance on his way. I'm not saying we should go after them, but obviously it's something he may have to deal with. They are a couple of hours in front of us, so depending on how quickly Lance has got that,
if that's the case, then our friends come first. The battlefield can wait. It will still be there.
you're muted.
I was trying to
I
think-
can't hear you, Saren.
Agreed. Our friends come first.
I was trying to think of the what Strider says in Lord of the Rings whenever they sort of the fellowship has been broken, but we can give them a fighting chance, sort of thing. And they go running off into the forest. But
Okay. So you're following the hoof prints then?
yeah.
Okay.
Can we do we know what the prints are? Is there?
Give
tell?
me. It's not going to be nature because it's what's going to be figuring out what.
Survival. You could either use survival, you could use steer would be.
Yeah,
What's
give me
gonna be figuring out what?
figuring out
Hmm?
what sort of creature it is.
That's nature.
But it's okay. Give me a
Well,
nature check.
if-
Yeah.
Or if it's a specific type of creature, then you do religion or arcana. If it's
Yeah. Go give me a
I'm just
nature,
trying to
and then we'll
think
see
if
how.
I've got anything. Just trying to see if I've got anything that may.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there's no nature category, is there?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's been a while. Clearly. I don't play druid enough. Or ranger, for that matter.
I could speak with animals.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, yeah, it'd be nature. I mean, the only other time it'd be survival is if you can wrangle the knowledge and say, oh, I've encountered these footprints before when I fought X, Y, and Z creature. But that'd be like a reach, and even then,
it's
probably
nature
more-
unless they're not beasts and animals.
yeah.
So.
Right, okay. Nature. Neither of us have a good nature.
I don't think I've got particularly good nature either.
Not bad.
You're not. It's not natural. Whatever it is, it's not something you are aware of that you've hunted or came past. It's not something from this forest.
Okay. Thurville and Tharavel sort of look at each other and say, "I do not. These tracks aren't known to me. They aren't known to this area, which causes me concern."
That causes me concern as well. I mean, if they're not known to this area, then no one's going to know how to deal with them.
Yeah, so I think we just start to follow the tracks.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you what speed are you doing this at, by the way? Are you
Can we tell? Are they? Do the tracks? Can we tell? Are they like in a formation? Are they marching? Or are they just?
you can
moving
probably
sort of-
tell there's a fair few of them. There's probably about 10. There's probably about 10 of them. And they're not moving. They're not walking, but they're not sort of running either. They're sort of kind of trotting along in that direction.
Okay. Then I suppose we'll probably have to match that pace then, at least, and hope that they stop for a camp or something.
Okay.
Well, if we're traveling at a faster speed, does that affect our stealth or anything?
Yeah,
like
so you're
that,
going to
or-
be obviously noisier and stuff, aren't you? But the
Mm.
thing is, if you match their
Uh,
speed, then you're going to match their speed, and they're going to, so that's it. So you can either obviously.
So let's see. How long does that last? Okay, well, I'll cast for the time being, for at least for like an hour, to try and catch up a bit of time. We'll cast Pass Without Trace. Well, I've got a crit anyway.
For your stealth,
Yeah.
but not the others don't.
Can I roll stealth then?
Have you not rolled stealth?
Or
Yeah. Saravel doesn't, so it's up to you. You know, he can sort of, it's up to yourselves how many you want to go and if you want to leave anybody behind and stuff. But if you're at a run, which you would probably need to sort of get there, I think your crit would sort of be all right. But unless anybody else gets a crit, I think it's gonna reduce their stealth level.
Well, I mean, both Ceravel and Tharavel have got Pass Without Trace, which gives a +10 to stealth checks. So basically, if one of them casts it for an hour and the other one casts it for another hour.
Okay. Yep.
okay, I will roll stealth then.
So 24. Okay. All right. Okay. No probs. Right. All right. So we'll go back to the temple. What are you chaps in the temple up to?
Is this the same day, or is it like next? What?
Well, it would have taken them. Well, you've got all the time. So basically, the time it took them to get to the bastion, which is like a day, maybe. Yeah, about a day's ride to get to the bastion, and then obviously they've taken another sort of half day to sort of get to where they are. So you've got like a day and a half's worth of stuff.
Just trying to think whether Gregor would be suited in this state yet to be around crowds and staying in a tavern, or whether there was anywhere else that he could be. Could he stay in the temple for now?
Well, I guess that's something you have to sort of decide. I guess that's part of it. You've got this. People
No,
have.
I mean, like mechanic. Like, is there a place in the temple that he would be able to reside? If that's what we decide for the first couple of days.
Oh yeah, he would. He's happy enough to sort of. He's not going to leave anytime soon. He's sort of still trying to get his bearings and. No,
I mean from the temple side. Like, if we were to approach the temple and request, quarters, for
yes.
a couple of nights, would there be that available to him?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll no doubt be questions on where he's come from, who is he,
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
So
I want to know that out of character first.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Jace?
No, never mind.
Okay. All right. So, I guess we've been left alone. I guess Arno would just look at Gadden and Barty and just say, so what should we do with him while we have our tasks to do?
I'm quite liberal and free to do whatever at the moment. My research isn't going to be able to yield anything yet until until Barty has actually done his part. Unless, of course, I mean, I could, but really, I just need a point of reference for where to start studying, I guess. The other thing is, I guess, without Lance being here, I'm probably the next best thing in terms of speaking with the temple, the sanctuary retinue. So, kind of accidentally just volunteered.
And remind me, as I am not the most bookish of sort. I was to try and gain some information through my own means, but not immediately clear. / Conrad doesn't quite remember what information would be most helpful to acquire.
Well, we remember where he said something along the lines of you have the gift of gab. So I guess applying information doesn't have to come from books.
Oh, this is true, but what information would actually help us from these people here?
I think that's the question. Remember when we were talking about how we'd need to find a common link somehow between one of what's his face Theronborn's Bor's high commanders to get into that. Now, I think part of the mission was for them to go to the shore near waterside and see if they could collect anything that perhaps some of the mercantile folk have acquired, and hopefully they might lead to some high commander sorts. You, on the other hand, can probably get that information from the more sordid, seedier individuals. And not that I'm saying that you are, but you're gift the gab. So, I mean, if I was in your shoes and I was actually good at talking, which I'm not, I would go in that direction and see what else the gossip knows in the town.
Gossip on Dragonborn. Check.
Although, I don't think it's the Dragonborn we really need to know. Remember that somehow they managed to infiltrate the sanctuary with some high-powered magics. So, I don't think they could have done it alone. I think that they had inside help.
Yes, they'd need to
Interesting.
know the layout.
Exactly.
Where to teleport to.
I
Though
think
they were scrying, weren't they?
they were scrying
Scrying
with
hard.
scrying Eldrith. And so then obviously, even then, the sanctuary is a formidable temple. It would have to take an incredible amount of magic to be able to do that. And obviously he did, but something tells me that he had an inside story. That's my only thought. Otherwise, I feel like you are the free agent in this instance here, because this is between me and Barty to be able to try and find a way in and glean some knowledge where perhaps it's not cool. Either way, we're bound by the books.
This I can do.
Yes, there won't be. If there's any spies here, there's not going to be a paper trail.
No. And if anything, correct, I would like to find a spy.
Yes, we could learn much.
So you're going on a spy. You're going on a traitor hunt, a spy hunt.
Potential. Well,
Going on a spy.
Yeah.
Spy.
I'll,
Would the move to be to try and get recruited to see if there's any sort of like
well, remember that there's
circle
a,
and then lure them in?
remember that there was a lord that also decided to somehow put a hunt a mark on the elf twin. It wouldn't be far off the beaten path if suddenly decided that this individual, a lord, wouldn't be so selfish if he was a corrupted individual. Either way, corruption takes many forms.
That's true, and scum rises.
Exactly. So I don't see it necessarily in the sanctuary as such, because the high paladin here will probably have their heads, but also there probably might be a circle of something, like you can't lie in it. There's always some place like that. So
I will also visit the mage ward and inquire as to any items that might help us in protection. He'll sort of wink at Barty, calling back to the other conversation in the pub.
Oh, yes. I don't know if those sorts of objects would be quite appropriate right now. Saren's gone away, hasn't she? But yes, definitely. Maybe yes. Bolster our supplies, so to speak.
at this point,
But
getting with
I
it
think-
quizzically.
And like Barty looks around and sort of like lowers his voice and moons in a little bit. And he's like, "You know what? I think I might be thinking about this from the wrong point of view. The temple is insecure, and I was thinking to bolster its defenses. But why don't we just leave them to their own devices? If there is a spy or any sort of underground network, let them believe it is as it should be, and we'll just get rooms in the tavern and secure those."
Well,
Good idea.
that's the thing, you see, because I did this once upon a time. But basically, you dress in sheep's clothing, even though you're a wolf.
Hmm.
Yes. But if what I mean is if all of a sudden magics to allow people to spy on the temple suddenly stop working, they'll know something's been done about it. Whereas if we secure another location, they'll think nothing's changed. That we are
I don't know.
stupidly.
I'd love to, but also at the same time, I don't necessarily want to be testing the patience of the High Paladin and his cohort.
May
So-
I just
Well, nothing will
perhaps
change.
address the elephant / dragon
Of course.
in the room?
Of course.
What are we going to tell the brothers here?
That's what I mean. We don't have to. If we just stick him up in here.
But they will have to. He's clearly not the man that walked in. Do we deceive
Oh.
them and say that Gregor left and
Of course, we're still in the
our
temple.
new
aren't we?
friend, or do we tell them of this transformation?
What the predicament? I mean, the churlish side of me would kind of like let the tongues wag and see what happened. But no, we don't want to cause any unrest per se, because the brothers have done nothing but good to us. So I don't think that's nice.
What
On the
did you
flip-
tell the young brother who was overseeing us? Did he know that Gregor was undergoing some rite of transformation, or
We
did
did
he
not
just
say
believe he was
that.
ill?
I just said that he was ill, nothing more. And if anything, I made sure that we kept the details of the sickness as close as possible. And I did say that all he needed to do was tell us if something was going to happen in terms
Yes.
of a change. So, with that said, if there was a transformation to be said, I think I
We-
don't. go
We
on.
can smuggle him out. We can either render him invisible or teleport him elsewhere. Or we can say we told you what
no.
happened.
I think if
They'll just exclude him. They'll turn him out.
my lot is that we go and thank them for their service, that
Mhm.
Gregor achieved a full recovery and has now left with the others. We simply introduce the new Gregor as an old friend who has
Nice.
joined us in the place of our companions.
That's
Correct.
gonna be good.
I like this. Well done. Well done. I like this. This is very
What
smart.
could possibly go wrong?
It reminds me of the plays by Jonathan Hughes.
You really
would tell at our village. Weekend at Bernie's was a favourite. Yeah, that is the sound plan.
And
Has
do
anybody
we call
investigated
him-
his heart? Do we know if he is good aligned or evil?
He's good
The
aligned.
brothers tell.
I don't even
We-
think you need to worry about it.
he's very lawfully good.
So,
Oh, cool.
We're
so
both.
yeah. So out of character, it was basically Bahamut who pulled him back from the precipice, and he became an avatar of his rather than the other way.
Sick.
So
Cool.
yeah, so we know
Okay.
he is good now.
Hmm.
It's just how he got there is troubles Arno and Gadden especially.
Mhm.
I think your plan is absolutely perfect.
Then I
Gregor's
tell-
accompanied Farival, and this is
Nice.
his cousin
co-
twice removed.
Did they know Gregor's name?
He did.
Then we need to give him a new one.
Niacil.
We can't call him Niacil, Brother Gadden.
You can.
We cannot.
There
It
are
is-
100 years, and there's hundreds of years in between them.
It is a dragon name. Perhaps we do something like call him Gressel or Niagor.
Or Nathan, like your tongue.
Steve.
Nate,
Well, then-
if you must.
Lyson.
Nigel. Nigel. There you go.
Okay, Nigel it is.
Just pretend he's from very far away, and you can get rid of. You can get away
You
with all
can't. You
sorts of
can't.
lies.
Because...
You can. You can.
Well, I mean, I would agree this, but because I'm the talking lion here, I can say whatever I fucking well want. Him.
Right.
His
Perhaps
name's
we
Nigel,
call
but
it-
then if they say it's Niasil, say that's what I said.
Yeah. So do we allow him to go by Nigel, or will we call him Nigel?
I think. Well, I mean, personally, here's my rationale behind it.
Change it
He
every
is-
time you say it.
You just
Keep
say
them on their toes.
say Niasil the whole time around, and that's it. They can make any inference they want to. At the end of the day, he is his own being, so we can't. We
Yes.
technically should. Is he here with us? By the way.
I often call myself Rich. It doesn't
He's
He
in the
just
he's in the
like this.
vicinity. I rolled a dice for perception, but he's not heard you.
So, and technically he's here as well. So the agency should be down to him. But also, I just have this feeling that he's going to be bluntly very just good by the book. So, actually, we should probably involve him in the conversation, considering that it is him.
I
I don't
will
know
take
if-
him to meet the brothers, so there is no confusion that it is the same person.
Yes. And I will ask permission to root through their records.
I'll go. I guess I'm going with Barty then, because I have to root through the records as well.
You can't stand it, can you?
I can't.
Knowing that I'll read a scroll so packed with knowledge you'll never see it.
It's not just that, but also like I just like a good read.
Yes.
Arno just shakes his head and face palms. It's just a nerd.
Well, hey, listen, right? At the end of the day, my nerdiness is where I got to right now with my holier than I heal you and stitch your wounds up after being slashed open by some gaping razor blade.
Yes.
Oh.
So.
Do you have a poem to compose?
Learn!
Hard.
Oh, I will compose one
Just
for
for you,
Well,
dear Tony Wizard.
Like John Cooper Clarke.
There once was a wizard called Barty,
Barty.
who unfortunately was a little bit farty.
Barty.
Oh. Oh no.
He
my
cast
God.
a spell.
And
It
let out a
didn't
smell.
go well.
And let out a
It
smell.
didn't quite smell, and now Barty is called Sharty.
Yeah, there we go.
I have no idea what's going on right. I have no idea what's going on right now.
Let's go, Bone.
Well,
Where are you going?
It leaves me, Jason,
So, are you
lucky
talking to
with-
Niasil about your little plan?
No, no, no,
Wait.
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
no,
Rough
we're
goes
just
bad.
ignoring him in the corner right now. Like
Yeah.
he's not there.
It's like
No,
three
no,
guys
no,
just going like
no,
this. It's that scene in Sunny in Philadelphia where like he's looking at going absolutely nuts, and that's all three of us, and then everybody else is like, "What?" And that's Niasil. So Yeah.
It's like when you introduce your partner to your old mates, but you immediately just get drunk and start acting like you're 12 again.
that's
what is
I don't
happening?
know. That's probably you, less me. But yeah, we're going. Barty and Gadden are going to the library to hit the books. Meanwhile, Arno and Niasil are going to go to the brothers and explain themselves.
Yeah.
I was half
So
expecting
Arno,
that
Arno will
to end when we were going to
shoo
the
you
pub.
away. He will say that he'll have a word with Gregor first. Good luck on your search for knowledge.
Okay.
So
And you.
don't let the brothers cower you, okay? They're not exact. We still have jurisdiction here. And just like
Do we?
just let him,
Excellent.
give him. So yeah, we're gonna go books. Books.
But party.
Book party.
Reading party.
Worth a minute. This is not doing. Right. Okay, so I need to exit out of that and then refresh this. Okay, so you guys are off looking for knowledge and books and such. And Arno, you're off with you're going to go and talk to Niasil and sort of go. Let's go and introduce
I'll
yourself.
speak with Gregor first and give him a little heads up on what the plan is.
Okay, so Niasil is, you know, there was a few sort of people looking at him, a few kids and stuff sort of gawping at him as he's sort of standing there by this door. One of the monks is sort of slightly confused. And looking at him strangely, like, you know, there's this random man in armor in sort of in this area, and he hasn't said anything, but he's sort of kind of looking at you and going, you know, looking at you and then looking at Niasil. It's brother Matthias Sunfire, actually. We'll say it's the guy who sort of was helping him, and he's sort of looking confused, and he's my lords, who's sorry to be a pain. Who's that?
Ah, Brother Matthias, I've been meaning to come seek you. We have had part of our party depart. We have good news. Our dear friend Gregor was, he pulled through, and he has gone with the others who have taken him to recover further.
Right.
We thank you for your kindness and your assistance in this. And just in time, too. I see you looking at my friend here. This is Nigel.
roll me deception.
Now he really does sound like a brand of medicine.
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna roll against it. All right. He's just like Niadil.
No, Nigel.
Nigel, and he sort of looks.
No, it's you need to have the accent for it. He is one of our long time companions that has returned to join us here.
But he sort of okay, yeah. I guess so. Does the High Paladin know about him? Obviously can't have these random people coming in without being documented. Wouldn't be a very safe place to be, would it, my lords?
Not even for the heroes of Riverside.
Well, we're meant to sort of keep documentation of all who enter here. Like I said, it's sort of a military.
So there has been bookkeeping on our presence here?
Everybody who's come in here is noted down in the ledger. Yeah.
The High Paladin's ledger?
Well, he's the one who keeps a hold of it. Some of the brothers sort of fill it in for him, but they will have no doubt written your names down under the instruction of the High Paladin.
Very well, Brother Matthias. You speak good sense. Let us go and see the High Paladin at once and register Nigel with him.
Nigel. Nigel.
Yes.
Nigel.
His name is not Nigel, but that will pass for the common tongue.
Okay. He starts. He said, "Okay." He starts sort of like saying the name in different accents to try and sort of see if he can get it, and he keeps on cocking his head towards to Niasil and sort of seeing if he gets it right or not. Niasil, he goes along with it. He sort of turns to you and it's like, I don't understand why I can't call them my real name.
I will explain this to you later, my friend. But for now, play along.
Hmm. Roll me persuasion.
Yeah, 25.
Hey, Robert.
Niasel's sort of, if you insist, I guess. Yes, okay. He's still very confused about everything still, so he's just like, he's got lots on his mind, so he's happy enough just to go with the flow, basically. So, yeah, that's fine.
I mean, he would, considering he's got Gregor in his head.
Yeah. So you make your way, and you go to sort of kind of the steps of the main sort of sanctuary. The High Paladin is sort of there with some of the brothers. He's making notes and sending orders to people about different things. He says sees you coming and sort of turns his head slightly and squints one eye as he sort of sees Niasil striding towards him in his sort of gleaming platinum armor. So you have a new friend? And you would be... As he sort of...
Not a new friend, High Paladin's Lordship, Highness. This is an old friend. This is Nigel from far away.
Nigel. Nigel.
No,
and he looks
no.
at he looks at the brother Matthias, and he's like, no, not my lord. It's Nigel, and he sort of says it in a really silly accent, and he sort of kind of cocks over to kind of look, and he's like, all right, sorry, Nigel.
You can just call him Nigel. It's a name he accepts in the common.
Indeed. Okay. I don't remember being informed of him coming through the gates.
Oh? Perhaps you should check who is on watch, because that's how he got in.
He sort of turns to one of the monks with a bit of a sort of a strong grimace on his face. You're meant to tell me of everybody who enters this sanctuary, you fools! I'm sorry. I have to be very careful. We don't know who's around here, and anybody could come through those gates. Be the end of us. And he sort of shouts at one of the monks who sort of run off to the gates to sort of reprimand the sort of guardsman on the door.
Brother Matthias here tells us that he needs to be registered with his presence here, so that's why I have brought him here to you. He is a man of few words and is still learning some of the common tongue, so I will speak for him.
Okay. The High Paladin looks him up and down. Now, the armor he's wearing will have sort of draconic symbols on it and things. I want him to do a history check. I don't have any stats for him though.
Just roll a d20. He's a High Paladin. Give him like a +3.
Yeah. Okay.
Is my suggestion.
Okay,
Yeah.
16. He's like, it's very nice armor you've got there, Nigel. And he cocks his head and says, "You sure you're not is it somebody and that the insignia on your your cuirass. It's awfully familiar. Awfully familiar. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. And he sort of looks at Brother Matthias. He sort of shrugs his shoulders and sort of doesn't really know and says, "Yeah, yeah, it'll come to me."
Do I know? Is it just Bahamutian armor?
Yeah, well, it's Dragon Knight armor basically. So he's sort of it's Dragon Knight armor. So he's it's got like sigils of Bahamut and stuff.
That's what
but
I thought. So Anna will say, surely you recognize the symbols of our Lord Bahamut, High Paladin, for he is a warrior of the light, of the front, fighting for good.
Well, yeah, of course I do. Indeed. Who do you fight for, Nigel? Well, I mean, what nation? What order?
What's the order Val was from?
The Order of Undying Light.
Yeah. The Legion of the Undying. The Unyielding Light, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Unyielding. Yeah, sorry. Because I'm the same Legion as well.
He's a special emissary of the Hand of Undying Light, did you say?
Legion of the Unyielding Light. Yeah,
Legion of Undying Light. He has ties to Lord Valishul.
Okay, I'm gonna do another history check. He sort of scratches his mind for anything to do with the Legion of the Unyielding Light and doesn't come back with anything. He says, "Oh, of course, yes. It's familiar now. Yes, of course, I know, and sort of says, so Nigel, Sir Nigel, Sir Nigel, and
yes,
and sort of puts Sir Nigel, Legion, Undying Light, and sort of writes it down in his little ledger, and says, that's right, okay. We're all tickety boo and ship shape. So, is there anything else I can do for you?
Well, you see, High Paladin, I was wondering if you have had any strange characters come through these parts in your ledger, perhaps, that did not stay long, or in recent weeks, and perhaps if your ledger is all there. I'm following a lead, a personal one. I would be grateful of your assistance here in sharing this information.
He looks slightly concerned, and looks at you. You mean, as in somebody's? He starts flicking through. He starts flicking through his ledger to see if there's any pages missing. And he says, "I don't think there's any. I think there's any pages missing. It's slightly concerning. Obviously, if there's somebody in this ledger that you have concern with, there's obviously a concern to everybody in this complex. What is this concern?"
Oh, it's nothing major. I'm just looking for someone. They are not a threat. It's just I've been on their trail for some time and wondered if they have passed through recently. I would imagine that they would not have stayed long, and they would not have been recognized. Do you have any such list of first-time visitors?
He just sort of looks at his sort of massive ledger and just so, fill your boots, and sort of hands it over to you. He says, but give it back to Brother Matthias to provide it with me. Don't spill anything on it. Don't destroy it.
It will be most safe, High Paladin, sir. I have no issues with Brother Matthias watching and supervising. Is it okay with you if I take this to the confines of the temple to do my study there?
Yes, by all means. Just bring it back. There's more people who enter this place every day, and I need to keep track of them all.
Of course. And it goes without saying, should I find anything untoward, I will notify you most immediately.
He sort of nods his head and bows to you. Okay, so he gives you the book. Brother Matthias sort of pushes his hand towards the temple complex. After you, my lords.
Thank you, and I'll pat Gregor on the back and said, "Come on, Nigel." And
he Niasil sort of, you can see he grimaces when you call him Nigel, and he says, "I still don't understand why I can't call him my real name."
Excuse me, a frog in my throat. Shortly,
yeah.
And hurries out, and
it's frozen.
They head off back to the temple, I suppose.
Okay, cool. Right, right, back to Seren and Tharaval. So you guys, are making your way westward. You are on a run to try and catch up with the whatever sort of stalking in the area. I would like you to roll me
Oh no.
I want you to roll me 3 dex saves. And I want you to roll me 3 dex saves. Each. Actually, I tell you what, I'll just do it one between you. The best person with the best dex, do it once, and then I'll just, if there's anything comes of it, it'll go for all yous. So.
What have you got, Vic?
9.
11 for Cyril.
17, another one. Okay, yeah, and another one. Okay. So you, as you're sort of kind of running, and you're running through these gnarled woods, and there's like roots, and it seems like there seems to be something that's trying its best to block your way as you sort of run through them, but you handily sort of make your way through the entangled undergrowth. I'm not going to do a sort of battle map for this. We're just going to theater of the mind it. So you get to the edge of the edge of the forest. As you do, make sure I'm on the right. On the wrong. Beyond that, and that, just so I know where we are. Okay. So you get to the edge of the forest where there is there's sort of like a clearing. There's a hill, and on top of the hill you see in front of you these hooved creatures making their way along the road towards the distant sort of waterside, which you can see in the very distant sorry. They are not something you it's similar to maybe some of the demonic creatures you would have dealt with at Silkside, and they're all natural hooved demons, and there's about 10 of them. They have slowed down and seem to be eating a sort of dead horse on the ground in front of them, and they're all sort of, I guess, even demons need some sort of sustenance, so are devouring this poor horse that's sort of lying dead on the road.
So they're evil.
Yeah, they're not good guys.
Okay. Sneak attack.
Okay, so there's 10 of them. How are you going to do this? Just sort of, they'll be sort of surrounding this sort of corpse, and so it's you're at a height advantage over them. You're stealthed, so they're not. I'll do a quick D20 roll, unless they get a 20. I don't think they're going to see you. So I'll do this 5 times. If anybody sees anybody, oh,
Oh God.
Okay. So most of them don't see you, but as you're sort of out of them, one of the demons sort of lifts its head up. It's sort of dripping with sort of horse flesh and sort of on blood, and it sort of turns around and looks sort of in the distance towards you. It's about to point in your direction.
Well, I suppose we probably
Actually, roll
just
me a perception check. I want to see if you see it or not, basically.
Whose perception is higher? Durabel is slightly.
Okay, yeah. So you basically see him lift his head up, and he starts looking towards you, and you're pretty confident you've been made. He's sort of lifting his. He's lifting his finger, no doubt about to set an alarm off for the rest of them.
I think we'll basically take the moment that we've got to attack with surprise the ones who aren't paying attention.
Yep.
So do we roll initiative or?
You can go first. So it's just going to be you, then them, then you, then them.
Oh, yeah, right.
So yeah, there's only yeah. So just roll me some attacks between you, Serval, and Saren. As sort of distance goes, Saren, you're probably not. You're not. You would need to shoot them with a bow. You're not going to get up and close and personal.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so Laravel is so he's going to get advantage. Sharpshooter sharpshooter we can use for the distance and everything like that. Threat, ambusher, sneak attack, so we can get that. So we'll get 3 attacks. Do I use lightning arrow? Yeah, fuck it, why not? I'll use lightning arrow. Because they're all going to be within...
Yeah, they'll be surrounding each other. Yeah, or surrounding the corpse of the horse.
Okay. So I'll go first. And where is my bow? So with advantage... 3 attacks here.
Okay.
So there's 1, and then take off Red Ambusher, take off Sneak Attack, take off Lightning Arrow, and use Favorite Foe. Oh yeah, Assassinate. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Actually, yeah, so any
Are you assassin class? I didn't mean to click
Yes, I am.
that. Aha!
So yeah, any hits I get are crits.
It doesn't matter. You're going to kill them as long as you get over there. I say it's just going to be one shot kills pretty much. So just roll some more attacks.
Okay, there's 1, 2, 3. So that's Tharball. Then do Sturvel.
What about your lightning arrow? So your lightning arrow, does it?
It's on the first. So the first one, so it's done extra damage on the first hit, but then anybody within, what is it again? I think it's anybody within 10 feet takes that damage as well. So
Takes 30.
Lightning arrow. 4 plus 8 plus 3 plus 6. 48. 4 plus 8 plus 3 plus 6. Oh no, it's not that. Sorry, it's 10. Let me have a look. Lightning arrow. I don't remember what this is. Does it say in there? Whether you hit or miss, each creature within 10 feet of the target must take a dexterity saving throw. Each of these creatures takes 2d8 lightning damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one.
Okay, so I'll just roll one. Okay, they fail. Okay, so they're taking the lightning damage. Okay, so that is that and that. Have you got any more? So you got 3. Potentially I'll do the lightning damage afterwards. Ceravel then.
I think he doesn't have great ambassador, does he? No, but he's still got assassinate. He's got dreadful strikes. He can use his. So he will do 1. Take that off. Put that on. And 2.
You get advantage, so yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. Saren.
Okay, so I get sneak attack on the ones that aren't looking, right?
Yep.
Okay, so straight short bow because I don't have anything fancy. So 1. Sneak
Advantage.
attack on all of the ones that aren't looking.
Yep.
Okay, so how many more do I need to roll for?
How many attacks do you have?
Just 1.
Okay, so first one. So all right. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dead. So there's 5 dead. You got 5 dead of the ones that are just there. You know, the arrows sort of kind of in short succession just coming thudding in and hitting them in the head, and down they go.
So that's 6 dead, sorry?
Is it 6 dead?
So there's going to be
1, 2,
3 shots from me, 2 from...
Oh yeah, 6 dead, yeah. So 6 dead. The lightning damage sort of kind of sparks round the others and sort of shocks them. They take some damage but are still alive. You've got 4 left. Now all very aware of your presence. So roll me initiative. As long as, you know, I'll roll just as d20 for theirs. They're on a 15, so as long as it... Ooh. 26.
Oh, that's Ceravel, sorry.
Yeah.
The Fireball.
And 10. So it's gonna be up to you to... How many shots are you gonna get off? 3 still?
The first one was actually, it was Ceravel.
Okay, so Ceravel's going to get 2 shots off. before they go, and then you guys can try and shoot them as they run away, basically. So roll me the 2 shots then.
I don't need to add in like.
No, just as long as you sort of
1, 2.
Yep. Okay, that crit I will give you another kill from. So it sort of goes through 2, or it's sort of in front of each other. So it pings through one guy's head and then goes into the other one, sort of killing them. So you've basically got. So there was 4 left. You've killed 3. So there's 1 left. The one left is the one that was sort of standing there, about to point his finger at you. He turns around and sees his comrades lying dead on the ground, and hisses and starts to run off into the distance. Who's next up? Baraval. Saravel turns around and says, "Brother, kill him!"
Okay, so again, using sharpshooter, so it doesn't give him any sort of disadvantage on range or anything like that. And he'll have his last shot.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. The first one, because of him seeing you and sort of intervening terrain and other gubbins, it sort of flies sort of over. Cereval looks sort of kind of concerned, but then you sort of aim your last shot. You can describe how you take him out. It's up to you.
I was going to say sharpshooter ignores like cover and everything like that. So basically, even if he's running, unless he's completely covered, it ignores.
Yeah, well, it's just we're doing cinematic, so just whatever cinematic.
So yeah, so basically, he shoots his first arrow and he just misses him, and he's just the demon sort of ducks out of the way of it, going through a bush, and his brother, Serval's like, Tharaval, he's getting away, and Tharaval sort of he pulls back the bow, and the energy and light starts to appear in the bow, and he just adjusts the lead slightly in front of where he expects the target to sort of run, and it just as the demon sort of edges and steps right, he looses, and it just the arrow just sort of flies through the air, and it just looks like it's heading for empty space, and the demon just sort of runs in front of it, and it just catches him like sort of straight in the side of the head, pins him to a tree.
Yeah. Okay. So you, he goes down. As that sort of last, actually, roll me a perception check. Okay. As you sort of, hit him with that shot, sort of in the distance from the sort of advantage, the sort of the top of the hill that you're on, you see 2 lone figures, 2 figures sort of walking down the sort of kind of main road towards the town in the distance, and you say to yourself, they don't know how close they were, as you believe it's Lance and Eldrith who are walking in that direction.
He sort of turns around and looks at Starvel. Turns around and looks at Saravel and says, "Should we tell them? I don't think they'll believe us." They'll not be thankful either way. But
They'll never believe a word we say.
yeah, they sort of make their way over to the sort of some of the dead demons, and they sort of search around to see if there's anything of merit or interest on them.
Roll me investigation.
Shit. My investigation's actually not too bad.
What about yours, Saren? What's yours like?
Investigation is. Please be bloody good.
We ain't found shit. Sorry. We ain't
I know
found...
nothing.
You sort of look around the bodies of these foul creatures. As you do, they disintegrate into ash. Their weapons sort of follow suit, and they leave nothing but sort of black charred, black charred ash around where they were, and nothing of any note.
That was with my investigation as well.
Yeah, you don't mind.
Yeah, they're just in the moment.
Apparently, they don't feel well.
Yeah. Yeah, so after sort of investigating, everything turns to dust and ash. It's like, they're definitely not going to believe us now.
I sort of bend down and sort of pick up like a handful of ashes and like sort of sprinkle it down. Like Salt Bay.
Yeah, Tharavel actually he takes like a sort of handful of ash just in case the wizard can do anything with this, and he puts it into like a little pouch, and
that's probably
ties
not a
it up
bad
into-
shout.
Okay. Are you going back the way you came then?
Can I also take like a handful of ash or something like that so I can use it like pocket sand?
Yeah, by all means. If you want to take demon ash, you can take demon ash.
Yes, I will take and put it like in a little bag or something, like a little pouch full of demon ash.
Okay. And you're making your way back the same way?
As in back to the battlefield.
Towards the battlefield.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point.
Or you can go along the shoreline, I guess, if you wanted to, or you can go over the hills. It's up to yourself.
We'll go back the way we came.
Okay.
Well, actually, do we want to go back the way we came? Because we'll have to go through those reeds and everything again. But yeah, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Yeah, if we go back the way we came, at least we know what to expect. We know what it was like, and like the way to go, rather than having to.
And we're not
trying to run another way
time as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go back into the forest. Roll me. Roll me survival.
Both of us.
Whoever, I guess, just to make it easy, the person who's got the highest survival is probably the best option.
That would be you guys.
16. You sort of make your way through. You're not confident this is definitely the right way. The tracks have disappeared. The undergrowth is sort of different. Was that Ceravel or was that you who wrote that?
Tharavel.
Yeah. You're pretty confident it's the sort of right way where you're going, but you can't be 100% sure. So you just keep on going in the general direction where you believe you are, where you're going. Okay, back to the temple. What are we doing?
So we've already gone into the library.
You're going to the library? Okay.
Yes.
So what is it you're looking for?
Marty? I think, yeah. Go on.
We're after, is it just info on,
Info on, yeah.
Info, all the info of the world.
On what? What is it you guys are sort of trying to find info on? Rituals? Lyocell. I don't know. What do you?
Well, we could do. Well, there is. Too many. I think the original objective of us going to the library for the research was to try and figure out what would be the best way to try and like get close to Theranbor's, like get basically like replicate whoever it was. It scrying on? Was it scrying or trying to? Basically, we need to get.
What's your? Yeah. What are you trying to achieve? Scrying?
No, I think we've got the spell for scrying. I think that's not the problem. The problem is we don't know who to scry to in order to get close to Theranbor. Because at the end of the day, we need to find a way to weaken him and agree and fulfill the pact with Kiamat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess our research bit was trying to make sure that we were armed with enough knowledge so that we can go in with not as half cocked as the last time where we had Kiamat basically handing our ass to us in the platter, but us and then solving it, and I think like going to the temple, the library would almost, if there's any battle plans that have happened, anything to inform us. It's in particular if there's like a record of an individual that we could perhaps like actually follow if they're still alive or not, a battle record to suggest that this person's around and we need to try and scry on him if it means that we can get access to Theranbor through him, for instance. That's what I thought.
I don't know if you're going to find anything like that within his maybe. Roll me investigation. Well, actually, roll me investigation. I think I've got an idea. Roll me investigation.
Can I give Barty advantage because I have shit investigation?
Yes, go on then.
Being efficient.
There goes my shit investigation. Oh.
Yeah, just a bit, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you, it's not an extensive library. It's not, it's inverted commas library. It's basically a repository for the sort of, the documents and things, the manuscripts that the sort of kind of monks have created, and now the documents, from the war. You find a scroll that describes the order of battle for the Battle of Whispering Shore. And within that are some names of enemy generals. There's a question mark sort of beside it, beside these names. You see Theranbor, the Dark Knight, the Usurper Blade, different sort of names for the main sort of bad guy. Under him, you sort of have this sort of kind of semi-order of battle with sort of descriptions of the enemies and potential leaders. There are sort of kind of question marks beside their names, so you can't be 100% sure if they know those people. But let me just generate some names for you, Berthold.
Because I think between Barty and Gadden, they're going to want to see how often they crop up and where they appear and where the location is. Because, like, say for instance, they end up having fought quite frequently on Waterside, which is the initial beachhead for the forces of Tiamat and corruption. Then obviously it stands to reason that they would be a good place that would be a good place to ambush any high-ranking individual and use them to our advantage. A, either getting that information, or B, finding a way to get to Theranbor, because we don't know where he is. That's the thing. And so capturing a high-ranking officer is probably the number one priority, because that will lead us to him.
Let's see.
Also, is there any magical device that's known within the brother's library that could be completely omnipotent and help us find an individual regardless of the magic. Like it's so strong that we could find Therenbor wherever. Like
well, they're you know where you're pretty confident you know where he is. He's on the island of Uspaz. Oh, I can get it right. I'll put on. I need to go to my history. History. We'll go
Spathian or something like that.
Let's see. Corruption War begins. We're looking at. It's called Uspeza, or
Okay.
which is the island, which is it's the big island to the southeast of Jorthrasta.
But that's player knowledge, but the character knowledge is different. We
No,
don't know much
there's a general, view that sort of where his, that's where his sort of main beachhead, his name fortification, where he's gathering his forces after the defeat at Whispering Shore, is. So I would say it's sort of commonly-ish known knowledge that he's around there.
Yeah. And so the thing here that the funny bargain that we've all struck is that we need to get rid of Therenbor and deal a heavy blow to him, knowing full well that he was defeated at the Whispering Shore by a host from the Sanctuary and so forth. And then we don't know enough about the Citadel for starters to get in there. It's another Jorthrasta situation. We're looking for information to try and get in and to find Therenbor and kill him. Are we therefore playing assassin, or are we going to storm the keep the band of adventurers that we are against a horde of people? Because I'm pretty sure, when on paper it looks practical to actually assassinate him, but actually theoretically it's not. So, and I think this is probably the conversation that Gadden and Barty are having, what is the best way and what information are we really looking for? And that's where we're going to be meandering around trying to find a way to get to Therenbor, assassinate him without in the easiest way possible, without having to summon an army and get them to cross over the Whispering Shore and by boats to the Citadel.
Yep.
And that's the angle.
Names wise, you've got Valeria Bloodbane, you've got Garruk Ironhide, you've got Xavros the Whisperer, Lady Safri Nightshade, Thanak the Defiler, Kazrath Doomcleaver, Selena Ashvane.
Who was the most recent encounter?
These are just underlings, generals, lieutenants that they've got in an order of battle. Sort of an idea of who these people are. There's sort of slight descriptions beside them. Again, there's sort of little question marks and scrawlings beside it that sort of may indicate that they're not 100% sure on this. But you've got description of Valeria Bloodbane, a cunning and ruthless sorceress who commands Therenbor's arcane forces. Once a respective mage of Thrasta, she is turned to dark magic. Garruk Ironhide, a towering battle-scarred warrior clad in thick spiked armor, known for his brutal tactics and unyielding strength. Garruk leads a vanguard of Therenbor's army. The Whisperer, Xavros the Whisperer, a master assassin and spy master who manipulates events from the shadows. Skilled in the arts of deception, fear, and concealment. Xavros excels in demoralizing enemies. Then you've got Lady Sapphire Nightshade, former noble turned vampiric warrior. She commands Therenbor's night raids and skirmishes. Elegant yet deadly. Thanrak the Defiler, a necromancer who raises the fallen as undead soldiers to bolster Therenbor's forces, twisted and sadistic. Thanrak delights in torturing, turning the dead against their former allies. And you got Kazrath Demon Cleaver, Doom Cleaver, a brutal dragonborn berserker, and second only to Thumber in sheer combat prowess. Once a warrior from Uspeza, Kazrath was seduced by the prowess of power and now leads Therenbor's shock troops. Selena Ashvine, a strategist and former general of Uspeza who betrayed her homeland for the promise of dominion under Therenbor's rule. And then you've got Korvax, the relentless, a revenant knight cursed with undeath. He leads Therenbor's heavy cavalry.
There's a lot of there. There's a lot of people there. Like, we just look at Barty and be like, oh, fucking hell, we're dealing with an insane army here. Yeah, I don't know what to think.
Galeric, the one that commands the Vanguard.
Yeah.
Sounds like a trusted general.
Does. I think, for starters, all the Dragonborn
This
are
is fun.
trusted. None, any of the non. And we're gonna have to assume a level of racism. Anybody that's non.
I would say
Even if-
that the ones that were former Uspezi and Anthrastian members are effectively traitors. There's no question marks or writing beside them. They're obviously aware of these people beforehand and know what they are. It's just the others that they're sort of unsure about.
Well, no, he's not. He's inferring behind the question mark. So he looks at Barty and he says, "Look, I mean, if I was the party, I would go with the Dragonborn, because even though we've known these people are very much known, they don't have any question marks against them. Something tells me that they're just being their tools in the war, because they're not Dragonborn. The whole point of Tiamat's crusade in the first is to make sure that she can conquer the space and her beloved children. So it's the reason that I would be surprised if suddenly we find that his right hand or his closer not.
One minute. Sorry, my Discord has just all I'm getting is everybody's sort of just going yep. Bertha, 1 minute. Let me jump back out and back in again. Oh no, I think
No, I'm back.
Everybody's back. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we all experienced it. It was very weird.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, was that the same for everyone? I thought
I thought it was me. I thought it was just me. Okay, right, cool. So,
wow.
say that. Sorry, carry on what you were saying there. Because you.
So it would stand. It stands to reason that the Dragonborn are going to the Tiamat's primary they're her children at the end of the day, and he's going to have Dragonborn in close retinue. It doesn't make sense for an outsider to be inside the circle unless, of course, they manage to win so much trust with them. So that's what I'm betting, and I think we just need to find one of these individuals. And you're right, maybe the Vanguard is this Gyarsk, whatever his name is, this chap. He might be the first bet. Although I'm also thinking of the low-hanging fruit, who's always the easiest to get in, because we've got a month to do this before Mr. what's his face's name, Draken's deadbeat dad decides to start dictating his terms again and going against us. So that's the only concern. Again.
No, I think it's all doing it again.
Yeah.
No, we're back. Are we back?
Yeah, I don't know if we are back.
Yeah, Discord.
We're back.
See,
It's Discord.
Yeah.
Discord's playing around.
So
Okay.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
So let's find out who. Let's choose a Dragonborn to pick. Let's see anyone who's easy to find.
I agree, but at the same time, they're all trusted enough. They've all got their troops that they look after, like be it cavalry or vanguard or shock troopers. Maybe if we could learn more about the movements, like what happened at the Whispering Wood, and then what maybe the next move, we'll know who to target.
Whispering
That's-
Wood.
that-
Whispering Wood is Game of Thrones, by the way. So Whispering Shore.
Oh, is it? Whispering Shore, sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But
good.
if we can anticipate the next move, we may know who he is dealing with directly.
Yes.
Point of view.
Yeah. In that case, then he just looks around looking for some sorts. Excuse me. Hello.
You're looking for somebody to help you with your
Yeah.
A sort of studious looking monk sort of pops his head up from behind a scroll that he's sort of copying down. It says, yes, can I help you?
Do you have? I don't know if this is possible here, so I'm gonna first of all pull rank and say, my name is Brother Gadden. I am an envoy from the Legion of Unyielding Light, and this is my associate Bartholomew. Now we're looking for records of the most recent skirmish, particular one with lots of detail in it, because we're looking to try and identify a key individual that may be pulling the strings who's high ranking. I don't know if you happen to know where we can find that.
He sort of looks at you and we don't have a lot of information on the enemy. If we did, he wouldn't be the enemy anymore. He'd be dead.
Well, do you have battle reports of what happened afterwards? Surely you'd want to do some post-mortem analysis to see what your forces could do better with.
He said, "Yeah, we've got some casualty figures, and problem with demonic forces is they don't tend to leave a lot of dead around. He says, I'll try and find you what I can about the battle and provide it for you. It may be of some help."
Was the Whispering Shore really the last encounter that we have, or do you not have any skirmishes from like captains? I don't care how much it is. I'm not expecting a detailed thing. Just like a little footnote that says that the characteristics of this individual and his or hers.
He says he can give you a list of minor sort of skirmishes along the sort of along the front. But they don't sort of record all of the skirmishes. There may be some at the Bastion of the Morning Star. They'll obviously keep more of a record of what's happening in and around their area and their sort of thing. Obviously, minor skirmishes in and around that area probably won't be of any major note to them there, but he can try and find some for you.
Well, in that case, if not, well, it doesn't need to see if we find some. He just wants to know what the most recent one is that they've recorded, because that at least is the first lead. But obviously, the fact that he said, "Oh, you might want to speak to the people about the Bastion of the Morning Star," then he just looks at Barty and goes, "Another excursion."
Yeah. What I was going to say, yeah. So I can do that. I can get you sort of a list. It's up to yourself. Like, if you
we're looking for the most recent thing, because that's probably everything else. If it's like a skirmish from ages ago, the lead is going to be cold. We're not going to find them.
Yeah.
So we need the freshest fight possible, so we can potentially go to find the person. Maybe find witnesses to speak to, people who could do that. Then go, okay, great. I think we have some sort of a lead, and then maybe afterwards we end up going on a hunt to find this individual, seeing if we can get the results.
Okay. I'm just going to write some notes. So, list of skirmishes. Proceeding the heat of
And then, like, if we can go with a vanguard, is the for, then yeah, like it would be great to find them, capture them, ball gag them, and make sure that they're ready for torture.
Okay. All right. All right. But I can do that.
Although, and then afterwards he turns to Barty and he says, "So, and didn't you say something about a something and incense? I can't remember."
Yes. And he whips out a vial of Ephesus oil. It's like, I've got this oil from the Ephesus tree. If we can turn it into actual incense,
Okay.
I can start casting forbiddance and shoring up our defenses against scrying and teleportation.
Okay, give me a second. And he just like looks at his term to see what he knows. How he doesn't have. He's rarely encountered the Thusis soil, so I'm just gonna double check to see. Come on, open it up. There you go. But he's gonna see if he can do. He's got something in his book to see whether he can convert something into a strong incense. Give me a second. I believe. Jeez, what's my proficiency in it? Yeah, where did it go? He does have a herbalist kit, so I don't know where that's gone. Because I did, as a part of a sage and a researcher, you get a herbalist kit as an option, so I don't know where it's exactly gone. But yeah, he's going to use that, and then I think he'll just spend time, and I can do it out of a game to basically say that he's going to help Barty convert the Alphusa soil into an incense using what knowledge he's gained from traveling around.
Okay, cool. All right. So before we finish, I've got a list of some things, but I'll need to just check some bits and pieces, and then I'll send you a list so you know what's going on. But the list of people in the ledger. What is it you're specifically looking for? Arno, sorry, in the ledger of people.
Arno is, well, my intention was if there were people that came into town to either spy or set up, what happened at the temple, just trying to evaluate whether there was any kind of unexpected visitors, to narrow down whether that happened or whether we should pursue the trail of maybe it was somebody there all along. So he's just looking for any notary, I guess, dates of entry that match up to the timeline that we have, and anyone that just didn't stay for long, and sessions and stuff that may seem suspicious.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
But we can leave it there, and you can have a think.
Yep. Okay. Cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. All right. We'll leave it there then. So we've got you looking at your ledger. We've got Barty and Brother Gadden sort of making incense, doing some arts and crafts, while trying to find the most recent skirmish in the area, so they can sort of establish who's sort of active still in the area. Then we have Tharavel, Saren, and Saravel sort of walking through the forest towards Whispering Shore, and then we've got Eldrith and Lance sort of walking towards Waterside. Cool. Right. Nice. So we'll leave it there for tonight. I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Conrad as Arno Jerkel.
Good night.
Michael as Tharavel Eldon.
Night, everyone.
Jace as Brother Gadden.
This is Clem Fandango here.
Can you hear me? Yes, Clem Fandango, I can hear you. Press the fucking mic! Press the fucking button!
This is Clem Fandango, can you hear me?
Say that once more! Say that once more! we've got fucking confused myself now. We've got Lecky as Bartholomew Pringo.
Shut up, I'm Fandango.
And we have Vic as Saren Sanguine.
Later.
Night, everybody. Bye.